Stop comparing your chapter 2 to their chapter 25. Every single thing I need is already inside me. We are created by purpose, for purpose, on purpose.
Welcome, my amazing people, to season 2 of I Got an Accent. So what? I have a guest. Another one. And this one is a male.
Am I one of the first males?
You're the second one.
Jeremy first. Jeremy definitely
Jeremy
first.
first.
Okay, obviously.
But before we get to the meat and potato, how we say, I want to first of all introduce my amazing, wonderful, talented producers, and the ones that made this show a reality that brings the creativity and bring it to life. And that's my amazing family from Pop Media Lab over there. Give him a clap for Leticia and Mr. Hater, right? Hater is our sound producer, and Leticia, she just runs us all. She's
the boss.
She's the boss. She's the boss. Listen, young, talented, and super, super, super creative. But today, Manny, can I call you Manny?
Call me whatever you want.
Okay, because it's
For
Emmanuel.
Sure. Emmanuel.
But
Manny is perfect.
But Manny, that's how I know you, Manny.
Manny, for sure.
But you are the second male of this format.
I'm honored.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
The whole entire season from last year was all female, you know.
Wow.
It was all entrepreneur women, and we wanted to switch the format because, you know, we don't want to discriminate my brothers.
I know, come on.
You see? And my
Yeah.
sisters, you guys had plenty of time. But today is all about you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So this format is that our amazing producers over there will interact with us, and they'll ask questions, which I have no idea.
Okay.
But this is a normal interview, but
Absolutely.
more like a storytelling that I want definitely my audience to know
Sure.
who you are,
Okay.
how's your career being,
Sure.
what's in your mind, where you heading, and definitely to inspire each other. But before that, please do not forget to rate, subscribe, download, listen to YouTube, Spotify. Come on, my producers, help me out.
Apple
Apple,
Podcast,
I'm guessing.
iHeartRadio,
Wherever
Amazon.
you want. You can listen, you can watch us on YouTube.
Sure.
But the most important things is your comment, your love, share with all those that you think that this is relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely that is the vision of the whole entire show is to be not only relatable, but to go into storytelling of what our entrepreneurship in our life is. But today's about you.
I got big shoes to fill after Jeremy. Like, my gosh.
Listen,
Jeremy, he's my guy.
I had to bring him because if I mean, you know.
Oh, no, he's my guy.
He was gonna kill me.
For
Yes,
sure, for sure.
Not literally, because we know Jeremy's such a peaceful maker, but I will not hear the end of it. So I'm like,
Manny first, not me.
no, he'd be like, I'm supposed to be first.
Of course.
But you know, you have a extensive career.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, my producer?
Extensive.
Listen, she doesn't have an accent.
I
okay?
do not.
You have an extensive career in sales, and,
Yes.
and I was looking at it, and it's very impressive, you know.
To God be the glory.
Exactly. Gloria a Dios. And actually going to that from Gloria a Dios, that's exactly how we connect,
Yeah.
you know. We've been going to the same church for 13 years, and he
Yes.
did not know that we were members
I know.
of the same church.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Back then, you were the youth of the, you know,
Yep.
pastor youth.
Overseeing the youth.
How many years ago?
Maybe like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like
Yeah.
that.
And all of a sudden, you know, always admire you because I heard you, you know, motivator, speaker in the church. Our church is pretty big. Yuda, we love Yuda, Pastor
Yes.
Clint Brown, Kendall.
Mm-hmm. And today's Pastor Kendall's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
By the
birthday.
time she's going to hear
I
this, it's going to
know.
be a couple weeks later. But she's powerful. She's a
Absolutely.
powerhouse. I would love to have her in the show, by the way. We're going to tag her
Yeah.
to make sure that she can come and we can interview her. But one day we were in Vegas, me and Jeremy, 10X.
10X,
We're
baby.
10X Yankees. And all of a sudden this guy passes by. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here?
Yep.
And it's been 4 years since then.
Yep, 4 years.
And I remember saying, because I used to see you in church, but we never, we never connected that much as we understood, 10X family.
Yeah.
And from there on, I mean, it's history how much I admire Jeremy. We admire each other and your whole entire progress. But
progress.
But this is not all. I know that you have a baby that it's born.
It's brewing.
Not it's a business, guys, by baby, right? And it's called Amp Your Life.
Yes, ma'am.
I love everything about it, but I definitely want to give you the space to explain to us what it's Amp Your Life.
Wow.
All about.
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here.
You're welcome.
It's definitely an honor. So Amp Your Life. So AMP, people don't know this. Actually, it stands for a message with purpose.
Wow.
A message with passion. I don't really display that as much. I probably should.
You should.
But Amp Your Life, you think about it, whatever you put in an amplifier, it doesn't change a physical state of the being, right? I use an amplifier right now, or megaphone. I'm still going to be tall, dark, and handsome, right? All right. So, but it changes the actual reach and impact of that voice. Tells me two things. One, I have more expansion and reach than I think I do. And every single thing I need is already inside of me.
Wow.
Every single thing I need. People always looking outward for things, but it's already inside of me. The difference is I have to cultivate that, right? I have to groom it. I have to work it. I have to till it. So Amp Your Life, the meaning of that is really taking our life literally to the next level. How can I amplify my life and live out loud? Living out loud consists of a couple things. Me being genuinely me. You look at your hands. You look at your hands as well, right?
Yes.
You have one set of fingerprints. There's
Unique.
billions of people in this whole world.
Yes.
Billions of people in this whole world. I can't be me unless I'm being me. And I can't be you unless you're being you. So we're actually us living in our own skin and realizing that I have a message to tell someone else.
Wow.
And if I don't amplify my life and live out loud, someone else is not going to be able to as well. Think about it. If you think about Jonah in the Bible, right?
Yes.
Jonah, God told him to go to Nineveh. What did he do? He said, nah, that ain't happening. He went the opposite direction.
Yes.
As long as Jonah was out of his purpose, everyone in Nineveh was going to keep doing what they're doing.
Wow.
You don't think these other prophets went to Nineveh, try to tell them, hey, stop tripping, stop tripping, stop tripping? Of course. But his voice, his message, the way he presented himself, the way he projected himself, those things were specific for Nineveh. So I'm here, I'm looking for my tribe.
Wow.
So Amp Your Life to me now is brewing, it's been festering.
Yes.
I've been putting my career before that a lot. And now I'm saying this year is a year for me to expand and for me to amplify my own life as well.
Wow.
As long as I'm out of my purpose, there's a tribe of people out of their purpose.
Wow.
So now it's time for me to amplify my life so they can amplify their life and live out loud.
So basically, you are the connection. And actually, you said something so brilliant about basically you have your own DNA and your message is unique. But you, God created you that way that I can say the same, but there's a touch with you that is meant purpose. I mean, that whole thing that you said is very, we can be here hours, digesting that.
Sure.
But that is what is the purpose, finding that passion, that purpose, because you understand that many can do it, but you have a different DNA that was set for you. And that is power.
And it's funny you mention that because honestly, I don't think people know this. I didn't always like my voice. I'm like, my voice sounds weird. It's not low. It's not high. It's kind of like, it's kind of weird. But God brought me to a scripture talking through Moses. He's like, hey, God, I stutter. What, you want me to talk? And I'm like, what I'm going to do and impact the world the most with is not my hands, not my feet, not even my brain. It's my voice.
Yeah.
God's like, I gave you your voice for a specific reason, and you were meant to reach people that are going to be able to be changed by how I created you. I created you for a specific purpose. Matter of fact, this is crazy. This popped in. We are created by purpose, for purpose, on purpose. We are created by purpose, for purpose, on purpose.
Wow.
And that's what he's made us to do, you know. And it's not just, I don't have to just do this inside of a church. You know, I think what God's called me to do is be out of a church, because I think there's so many things I do. I do sales, I do speaking engagements, I do all these things, you know. I don't have to hit somebody across the head with the Bible to say, hey, come to Jesus. It's not even just about that.
Those times are done.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Let me be me. I can sit at a venue, you know, sipping wine and talking to somebody, and
absolutely,
we're chopping it up. It's okay. People always have this box you got to stay in. It's about stepping outside the box, and once again, you being you, and that's what really Amplify comes back to.
Wow.
Amplify your life and live out loud. Live what you are called to do. We're created by purpose, for purpose, on purpose. I need to write that down, by the way.
Yeah, when we finish here, I need to write that down.
Yeah,
I'm a little
for sure.
slow writing, but that's amazing. Now,
sure.
It's actually so powerful because you said two very things there. I mean, you said a lot, but again, it's so beautiful to see you speak, Manny, because you have so much to give.
Wow.
And there's so many people that need to hear exactly what you just said. And it's also funny how our fear and our security limit the power that we have in ourselves. Look at you saying that you think that your voice was weird, which to me you have the most familiar voice. So actually, Leticia and I were talking about it, and we were saying Manny is so easy to talk to. You're one of the few people that I know, and I know a lot of people that make you actually listen to people, and you make people comfortable. Like with you, I can be myself with not having any filter, which unfortunately society is like that, who I need to be in front of this guy or this individual. And that is a gift that I've given you. But you do, through your fear, you're just like Jonah, limiting your message that so many people need. And on the subject of the church, absolutely. I'm a strong believer that church is a hospital. We all need help. We all need some type of something. Absolutely. And church is there that you go to reload, to be yourself, be vulnerable. But I think the real work, it's outside in different ambience. So many people that might not even know because they never, knew about God or anything, but just seeing your purpose and seeing you amplify your life, your voice, your message. It's a total different message that I've ever heard because you're talking in a place of passion that you was not even knowing how impactful everything that you're saying.
Wow.
And me, that I listen so much, people, we were listening to Anthony Robbins not that long ago, Cardone, it makes total sense. You are unique for a tribe that needs to hear your message that only God knew, that they only can hear you or relate to you.
And funny you mention that because I always thought that, you know what, I'm not. So two things. How can I get to my next level and helping others get to their level if I'm not there myself, right? I used to always compare myself to, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, all the big name people, Les Brown. I'm like, how am I going to ever get there?
Yeah.
But I was at a conference and they said something so dynamic. It blew my mind. Stop comparing your chapter 2 to their chapter 25. You're comparing your chapter 2 with their 25. Guess what? We all start the book from page 1. Yeah. They had a head start. And, Eric Thomas said this, I need to be on stage because there are some people that Tony Robbins can't reach.
Absolutely.
There's some people that I can't reach that you can reach. So once again, it's all about me stepping into who I need to be. Yeah. And when I do that, someone else can do the same thing as well. So.
Listen, I can't wait to see you thrive and can't wait to see that because you're like, you being putting it, hiding it, thinking that I'm not ready, but you're so over ready. You're like what we said in Spanish, "Está ya podrido el mango."
I know what you said, but it sounds good.
Like that mango, the mango is already like, it's ripe, but if, and that it's, man, so powerful in connection and in talking. I mean, I relate in a different way because actually Lele is the one that also, and I will always give you credit for that. because I used to feel the same way.
Wow.
I'm not good enough. Yes, I have my empire that I built with my husband, but I have so many limitations. Actually, I have people that used to make fun of me because I confuse words sometimes or things or my accent. And when Lele brought that idea onto me, which I just told her what my passion was. I'm like, listen, I love teaching and I love talking to people, and I would love just to have a kind of like the red top kind of thing.
Sure.
And she's the one that, Gia, it's a podcast. Why not? And I'm like, podcast? Like, yeah, I got an accent. So what? When she said that, it was such a click on my inner self that I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm missing the opportunity. And I felt like it was a duty that God have to me that I was putting it on the side.
Yep.
And the worst thing, what we just, said is a lot of time you see people less qualified than you going farther, even in a shorter amount of time, but it's because they are willing and able. Willing and able. So thank God for this channel and my amazing people and and individuals like you that keep confirming that calling, that passion, that message, that we can have the same message, but your DNA. I love that, guys. Your DNA is your DNA.
Yep.
No, there's no other Manny. There will not be. But I'm so, it's just, my mind, I already saw a whole entire vision, and I'm not even going to tell you. I'm only going to experience it.
You mentioned something. So I have some mantras that I live by. One of them came from out of pain. Yesterday, I heard someone say, your pain will push you towards like your purpose. So, might trying to get a little emotional. Maybe hopefully you have tissues here.
We're raw.
A lot of flies here, flies in my eyes. My God, what's going on here?
The allergies. The
allergies, just hit me. So I had a younger brother who passed away in a car accident. He was 21. He was 20. He turned 20 August 10th. Okay. And he passed away. September 13th.
Wow.
He was 21 a month and 3 days. Wow. The night he turned 21. It's on camera. My mom's gonna probably watch this, so I want to say, we had an amazing time, right?
Wow.
He's like, hey, let's come back to South Florida next weekend. Let's, see some family, do the whole night as well. The night he called me, I'm like, hey, I'm actually at work, putting in extra hours. Let's go next weekend. He died that night.
Wow.
September 13th. I will never forget that day. I'm laying on the couch. I get a phone call. They're like, is this Manny? I'm like, yeah, but I hear someone screaming in the background. It's my mom. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Wow.
Said, your brother. She goes, your brother's been in a very bad car accident. We don't think he's going to make it. Get her now.
Wow.
My heart literally dropped. Because me and him, we're like, he's like a son to me. Not even a brother, like a son.
Of course.
And then he died that night. I'm running in the hallway calling, Carl, where are you? And I locked eyes with the nurse, and she shook her head. And I literally collapsed to the ground, and I spoke at his funeral. And, from that, the quote, my mantra is, life is only today. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow may never come.
Absolutely.
So that's something you said, that, hey, you never know what you got to do it now. So you inspired me, and you reconfirm what I was thinking this whole time, so thank you for that. So,
Manny, absolutely. And you said, out of pain, the most beautiful things come. Yeah. We just don't understand it, and that's part of the grieving, part of it. But yesterday I was looking at this testimony, again, with Tony Robbins on Unshakable, and there was a lady that lost her 3-year-old girl. And she made us all cry because we get caught up on sometimes the future creating more and more, and we forget to enjoy that present, because that present is a gift.
Absolutely.
The future, nobody knows. And in the lady, she's saying that in her healing process, going to Anthony Robbins and all that, she had a moment, because people will tell her, how do you feel about it? And she never had an answer. And she actually had to practice herself saying, I'm actually blessed to be able to be in her life for 3 years. Not why or the reason why she passed away, but the blessing that you, God, gave me to be with that little angel for 3 years, rather than killing yourself and torturing yourself. Why could she not have more? Right?
Wow.
And it's a different perspective of how you see life. And to me, I see that as gratitude.
Yeah.
We live life with gratitude rather than asking the why. Why is this happening to me? Why I was not given the opportunity? Why can I make more money? Why life is so hard? The system, the family that I grew up, rather than I'm so blessed and grateful where I am right now, where life, it's a gift.
It is.
Life is a gift each day that we wake up. And if we live thinking with that gratitude, believe me that every step and every individual that we come across, we're going to impact.
Yeah. And it's funny. I heard someone say the other day, stop living life like you have 40 more years left. You don't know.
You never know.
Do it now. And that's why, propelled me to really catapult a lot of things like for this year.
Yeah.
Every year, this is my year. This is my year. Like, no, this is going to be a different year because I'm doing different actions.
Absolutely.
Different things to make it happen. So someone's watching this, you're saying, this is my year. This is my year. This can be your year if you do different things.
Absolutely.
This year is about getting uncomfortable to
with
get
a comfortable.
right?
Yes.
Another personal mantra is, life is about temporary sacrifices for permanent gains.
Absolutely.
What are you willing to give up for what you want?
I love that. Talking about mantra, absolutely, with the uncomfortable one. When I learned, and it was a good salesperson gave me this, when you learn to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, that day you're going to live a different life. Because it's true. We want to be comfortable. When you're comfortable, you start growing.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, pain is the only ingredient that either is going to break us or make us.
Yep. You either become a victor or victim.
Exactly. So
it's one or the other, nothing in between. So
my producers over there, you guys had a question, and I know we were like,
we just went in.
I know with your, I'm before you guys, I want to say that I'm grateful for this moment because we never know what the next hour is going to bring to us. I'm grateful that you were able to share that experience with your pain that somebody can relate to, that sometimes we think that there's somebody in a worse position that we are with the worst pain.
Absolutely.
And we can never experience that. So going from here to over there, guys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
What you just say is the first step for someone to amp their life?
Improvement starts with the letter I, right? So in order for you to amplify your life, you have to know who you are in yourself. I can't impact anyone else unless I can impact myself, right? So I don't think it's by chance that why it starts with the letter I. So I think starting with yourself. Okay, so first and foremost, what do I like? What do I don't like? What are some things I need to work on? I have my strengths, but what are the things that I can do to strengthen my strengths? I have my quote-unquote weaknesses, but what can I do to strengthen those at the same time as well? Spend a weekend by yourself. I was the weird person who, in high school, I went to the movies by myself. What's funny? There was one time I sat at Olive Garden, and Lay's like, "Oh my gosh, son, you want to sit down with me?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." She goes, "Oh my gosh, you're by yourself." I'm like, "No, I'm good." So I think you have to still date yourself, and find out what are some things I can do, who I am, and then from there, I can figure out, okay, so what does my next level look like? I know I have a bunch of mantras. I'm sorry.
No, we want it all.
So here's another one. I'll say, it's a kind of a long one. Get there before you get there. So when you get there, you're already there. It sounds like crazy. I'm like, oh, it sounds so simple. So in my mind, I'm already there. I already see myself as the number one motivation speaker in the world.
Yes.
My mind is already there. No one can tell me anything differently, right? So to amplify your life, you have to know where you're going. Like, what is my final destination? What do I see myself doing? I see myself not just speaking in the corporate world, but also in churches. I see myself being kind of like a dual threat. So first of all, understand who you are. Know who you are as a person, individual. Then secondly, have the end in mind, and then start working myself backwards. So who do I need to figure out who's there now? Like myself, I connected with Eric Thomas and Jeremy Anderson because they're already there now. So connect with people who are there now, who can help foster and cultivate that gift that's inside of you. Work your way backwards. Keep working on yourself, like 10X conferences. Keep building on yourself. Invest in yourself. And then read books. Find ways to continue developing your craft. For me, 10X, it means going from good to great to excellent. Then once you're excellent, you keep growing. The moment you stop growing, you stop knowing, you stop earning, you stop learning. So I think that's kind of a start to amplifying your life, and then you continue going and going from there. It's an infinite amplification. Infinite amplification. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just mind blowing because I know we've talked about this. We talked about having your own seminar, having your own, and just to hear you speaking, it's so mesmerizing in the self of something so fresh, And I see you on stages with young people that I think there's so much lack of, people to look up to, people that motivate. Especially, we were talking about with a few of them that, especially, in the male, that they were like, listen, it's hard because between men, they're like, we don't tell our bros our situation, our issue, because we're supposed to look a certain way. And this individual was talking, and I was like, my mind was just, this is a very young person. And I'm like, all you need is a good motivator that would, because at the same time, somebody that is so hungry like that, you can plug with the wrong person and they can really destroy you.
Absolutely.
So I see you with all this young generation that has lack, of people to look up to.
Wow.
Role models, we are living in a society right now, everything's so superficial, and everything we see in social media, it's, I told Jeremy, it's only 10% real.
It's all rented.
But unfortunately, because people want to feel certain way, or they want to portray something, and that is my vision right now, that sometimes I look at Lele, and even though I give her, like this morning, 10 excuses why I look horrible certain way. Your cameras make me so fat, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, I know I have to be proactive with that. And I want to show real girls out there that it's okay to be imperfect.
It's okay to be okay.
That being imperfect, which we all are, is the most beautiful thing that individual have. And you just said it, your DNA.
Yeah.
Your DNA cannot be replicable, right? Is that a word? Yes.
No, but good.
Replicable. And even like when we see twins, they do not have the same DNA.
That's true.
They're so unique, and that's why God is such a excellent creator in how he made us so unique. But the world needs to hear that, and so much lack of that role model that they can see. And I think because you're at a young age, you can connect with a younger person that maybe somebody in their 50, 60 can connect with somebody younger.
I mentioned to Gia when I was in college, I was playing tennis, and my coach was like my mentor, and it's so important to have that. And then after I left college, I kind of lost that mentor in my eyes, having a female coach and stuff like that. And then I met Gia, and Gia became, I told you that, come on.
She's awesome.
Gia became my mentor in a sense of building something for myself and being an entrepreneur and leader and stuff like that. So I think the younger generation definitely need that, For me, coming from that, it's like Instagram, I work with that, but everything's so fake right now, and having that mentorship, that it's so important. And I just think, like Gia said, we are definitely missing things like that,
that
someone
link.
to
And it's your duty, because our next generation needs that. Our next generation need that. Thank you, Lele. It's so funny because the other day she asked me a question and I still did not answer it. Because she said, what do you see in me? And I told her, I won't tell you, and I'll tell you in a couple of years. She's 27. She's young, being all her life studying for her amazing master degrees, which we're having it here in use. But that's why podcasts, it's such our passion right now, because it's the only way that we can storytell real information, real products that people not even know, awareness that people have no idea, and we can say it in a setting that is so natural, and people can actually, because people, one thing that people cannot resist is storytelling.
That's true.
You know, it's one of the most oldest, I think, technique that doesn't matter how technology get there.
It's
And
always gonna be there.
storytelling is the most, you know, it has a power to it, and this platform gave us that, and it gave me that identity, because it was funny, because our previous social media, she tried to figure me out. It's like, I know Jeremy's a motivator, he's the broker of the company, he has this, but I cannot figure you out. And I'm like, me neither. But as soon as Leticia met me, it was a match made in heaven, in the sense that I knew I needed to inspire other girls, and that is my passion right now.
Yes.
You know, girls.
You do an amazing job of that as well.
I
when
try.
No, there's no trying. Either you do or you don't. You know, and you've been doing that, and you and Jeremy inspired me as well. So honestly, I know you said before I inspired you. Like, you guys inspired me.
It's mutual.
I'm sitting in your building of your beautiful office. You know,
Thank
people
you.
don't know this, but my first property was purchased through G World.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how we can, you know, we're right here.
Yes,
we're right
we're
here.
connected.
We're connected. For sure.
And when she brought this to life, it was definitely a duty that I need to do. I needed to be vulnerable, show where I came from, to show all my imperfection, but at the same time I can share. And it was an amplification. It was an amp. And you just said it at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, it was so much in that sense, you know, that you explained that first 10 seconds about amping your life. It's a beautiful, I'm going to sound so cursi. What is it called? Melodic. Like, it just sounds, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
It sounds like it's something that is meant to not only impact other, but also be explosive. And that is somebody not having fear to limit you for whatever. And if we read the Bible,
Come on.
that everybody in
Well.
that book was imperfect.
Yep.
They have so many limitations, but they let God through them. So we are those stories in the making. And, you know, God purpose is amazing. Talking about purpose. That's my next question to you.
Yeah.
What is purpose means to Manny? We know AMP, but I want to know the purpose side for all those audiences and those young people out there that we want to connect those two together.
Sure. So I'm not sure if you guys know. So my spiritual father, Bishop Clint Brown,
Yes.
I call him Pops. He said it one day and it made sense. So most times, so this is a water bottle. Oh, it's not a water bottle. Take a sip. So
Yes.
this is a cup and there's water in it. So
Yes.
let's say this was a water bottle. The water bottle was meant to carry the water, right? So that's why it's called the water bottle. When God made you, he made your purpose first. Then he made you afterwards. So the actual bottle is the actual body, but the water was the purpose. So he had the water first, then he made the bottle afterwards to craft and hold that in. To me, purpose is your divine destiny of what you are here on earth for, and when you leave this earth, what your impact will speak to others. So I want people to know that before I came to this world, there was something missing. And God said, you know what? Let me make Manny. And before he made Manny, hey, you know what? I have purpose. You know, even since Jeremiah 1:5, you know, before you were formed, I knew you. I ordained you a prophet. So before he was even born, God already said, hey, you're a prophet. So for me, he's like, hey, before you were even born,
You're this.
you're already a
Motivator speaker.
You're already a minister. You're already a father, a husband. You're already these things before you're even born. So I think for us, purpose, the only way to connect to your true purpose is to first of all connect to God. Because of course, once again, we are made from purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. So for me, purpose means living out what God has ordained you and created you to do.
Wow.
He had the water first, then he made the bottle to house that water. That's what
hold
it means to me, to hold it. So that's what it kind of means to me, you know, being able to live out what you know. And sometimes people are like, hey, what is my purpose? Like, how do I know my purpose is? You know, what are some things you like doing? What are some things you are naturally good at? Like when I was in elementary school, I spoke at our elementary school like graduation ceremony
and stuff like that.
In high school, I spoke at the baccalaureate. I wasn't the valedictorian because my grade wasn't that good. You know, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too
decent.
Bad. It was 3.5 or 6, not too bad. But I spoke at the baccalaureate ceremony. You know, high school football team. I was one of the captains. I spoke during that, so it was already inside of me. I enjoyed doing it. You know, here's another thing for purpose.
Yes.
If money was not an issue at all, you didn't have to worry about anything, what would you be doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I will have a nonprofit organization telling people my story.
That's your purpose. If money is not an issue and everything else is taken care of, what would I be doing? Speaking across the world, inspiring others. Not even thinking about it.
There's no other connection so pure than that.
That's what it is. Your true passion, what drives you, what keeps you going and excited, that's your purpose. Wow. So people who are younger trying to figure that out when I was younger, like, I don't know what I want to do, but it always came back to speaking, whether it be in a church, whether it be in a school, whether it be in my office. You know, it's funny, Advent Health, you know, I spoke on behalf of like a board directors. I was like 22 at the time.
Wow.
And there was a bunch of like the CEO of Advent Health, the CEO of Orlando Health, the CEO of a different hospital. They asked me to speak because how that happened was I was doing devotions every day and sending out to people.
Wow.
Started with one.
They assume already.
They're like, oh, can you add me in? So by the time I left there, like 100 people literally doing devotions for. And then someone found out about it, like, hey, we'd love for you to lead our talk that we're doing, and we want you to open about 5-10 minutes.
That's
whatever
huge.
you want to talk about. I'm like, okay.
That's huge, man.
So once again, it comes back to what drives you, what gets you going, like what do you like enjoy? That's your purpose.
Wow, you just said something that it just clicked on me. That's why I love all my guests, because it's even though the lights on you guys minister me so much. And you cannot get this in another format than this.
No, for sure.
But what you're telling me is that life give us traits and give us hint of what that purpose, that future it is.
Sure.
And it's so funny because I've never put two and two together. And all of my tender years.
You called me old earlier.
Just messing to him. I'm actually older than him. Just have to make somebody feel bad. Just kidding. But I used to be in praise and worship, and
oh, wow.
I never considered myself a singer. I always said, it's just exactly what you just said. There's the better singer.
Sure.
Better people that are musicality. But I knew that there was some type of connection, and talking about sometimes letting your purpose because you don't think you're good enough. I remember I kept showing up because I love singing to the point that, I feel like it's a way for me to communicate with God. Again, I'm not the greatest. Like sometimes I'm like, it sounded bad. Thank God you're my God.
You still love me.
I'm working on it. But I remember I was probably 24, 25, and I kept showing up. And the praise and worship team leader at that moment in that church, she quit. And they put me as a praise worship leader temporarily for 6 months. And I've always had something that I show up. That's one thing that is in my nature. If I show up and I know that, actually I told you that one time, just show up and things will be provided to you. And I started doing that, and I've never felt so alive being on stage.
Wow.
Leading praise and worship. I might not be the best, but the connection, how I felt, my connection with God, and how I took the whole entire audience to that next level. Like it used to be so terrifying for me, to the point, and guys, I'm being very vulnerable to tell you this, because a lot of people might not be in the spiritual way that I'm going to tell you this, but before I used to go into stage, because I was leading praise and worship, because it was a bilingual church, my English was not perfect, and the majority of the song I sang, it was in English. I would start trembling. Like I would tremble. I feel so weak that I'm like, oh my God, as soon as I get that mic, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? As soon as I get that mic, there was something that came over me that all I can tell you that it was so powerful that there were sometimes moments that I had to kneel on the middle of that ministry, of that ministering people into worship. But I felt so alive to connect. And that's when I knew that my passion was somehow, it had to do with teaching people or taking people to a whole level. I figure it's not about the music because I was all right.
Okay.
But you just said something that I like. It does not matter how perfect you sing or not. It's what you're willing and able to take people.
Yeah.
And feeling the presence of God at that moment, I felt so alive for those 6 months that even I would start preaching, the same feeling. But those little traits have what's prepared me for what it is today's day, that I'm okay to speak. Now I love motivating people and talking and to feel I feel so alive. But it was such a trembling moment that I felt so weak, but I felt like I really like it.
And once again, when I started out, it's already inside of you.
It is.
You know, when you put that amplifier in front of you, your voice.
You need that cable.
I know. It's still there. It's all about cultivating it. Like Lily say, you say Lily. I'm going to say Leticia. It sounds weird. Hey, Lily. Lily. It sounds weird. It sounds
no,
weird.
No, call her Leticia. I'm going to only call her Lele.
I said Lily. Lele. Like Lily. How long does it take?
That's with an
minutes.
accent. Lily.
I know. But like she said earlier, you know, it's all about knowing, you know, who you are. And once again, it's already inside of you.
Yeah.
You know, that's when she asked me that question. It's like, honestly, like true story. She didn't tell me anything about what was going on. She goes, hey, I'm not going to tell you anything. You can't prep. You can't practice. Just come.
He came nervous, by the way. I know he was nervous.
I'm like, can you give me something? She goes, no. But once again, I heard someone say this. I am the prep. I don't need to prep. Because once again, it's already inside. It's already inside of me.
It's in you.
It's already, and it's inside of you. It's inside of you, and it's inside of you as well. So whatever is inside of you, let it come out because somebody else is waiting for it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Somebody else is. You holding somebody else's blessing or next transition and finishing it up, because we can be here hours.
I know.
And I tell that to all my amazing guests, just the one that I really love. We need to come back because I have so many more questions.
Sure.
But I do want to ask that little Manny. If you have the opportunity to go back, that younger Manny, and tell him something about your purpose and where you are today, what would that be?
Wow. Just dropping bombs. Okay.
And it's okay to cry.
You know, honestly, be you. Be you. I wish I would have known that it's okay to be in your own skin. It's okay to be you. Like a lot of times I used to try to impersonate different people. Like even my pastor, I used to like carry a little Bible around. I used to have a 3-piece suit and like, there's a little pastor right there. You know, I used to try to mimic and mock so many different people.
Yeah.
To the point where, you know, losing even yourself. So taking a long time to really understand who I am and whose I am, right? So I'd say be you. Don't be afraid to take risk. I think I was very nervous with a lot of decisions because I want to make sure, you know, you make the right decision. But it's better to make a decision and move than be stuck and trying to wait for the perfect and right decision.
It will never happen.
It's never going to happen, you know. So I would say also be bolder. You know, step into who you are soon. If I would have known what I know now,
you'd be.
Forget about it. Like I said, forget about it. You know, so honestly, I think that if you can really, 2 words, be you. Be authentically you and don't let anyone else tell you anything differently.
Absolutely.
And take risks and push yourself, surround yourself with the right people, and have the end result in mind. And don't let others steer your way around from that as well. Even my wife was saying, hey, babe, like one day you want this, one day you want that. Like, what do you want? You know, so like, know what you want, go after it. And once again, get there before you get there. So when you get there, you're already there.
I want to push you.
Please.
Push yourself to do that, and don't be more afraid. The longer you wait, the longer you might lose an opportunity to save somebody's life.
Wow.
The day that you see life like that, you start fearing everything. That is not about us. It's about that person that we can save. You have no idea right now with everything we have said, how many people we have given that second chance.
Wow.
And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, team.
Yeah. What about you? You can't ask
Hey,
me.
I'm interviewing you, man.
Listen.
That's not allowed.
So I was director of recruiting, and I used to ask interviews. I mean, matter of fact, I interviewed somebody today because I'm a sales director. So,
Yes.
So what about you? What would you ask? What would you tell yourself, the little you?
My little Gia.
Yeah.
Didn't I say it last time? Let me think again. No. I would definitely, I used to be a very shy girl.
Okay.
Again, the same thing. Didn't think I was good enough. Thinking that I didn't have the perfect skin, the perfect hair, the perfect personality. Always say that there's something better for me. But there was always something in me thriving for more that I could not explain.
Wow.
Now I know what it is. But what I will tell that Giannis is keep listening to that voice and keep taking that risk. And now I can tell you that voice was always God guiding me.
Amen.
And I was really young. I was 5, 6 when I started having those little voices because I was in such a toxic environment that I was put that a 5, 6-year-old should have never been exposed to.
Wow.
But at the same time, I have to thank God for that environment because it made me that survivorship who I am today. So I would definitely tell that girl, keep trusting that process because that process was created for you to become who you need to be now.
Wow.
So
Drop the mic. Well, we can't drop these mics. These are actually already planted.
no, we can't.
We can't really drop it.
But I don't want to take no more than what has been said. I think it's being purposeful. I don't believe in casualidades. I think it's always being created by God for a purpose and for opportunity. So I want to thank you. I'm super grateful for this moment, for this time. It's been a long interview. What my producers, anything you guys want to say?
No, it wasn't. It was really good. I feel so inspired.
You see,
Look, I'm inspired.
We got all those mantras. We need to write it down.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure. And thank you for allowing me to be here.
No, absolutely.
It's an honor.
Anytime
Seriously.
I got an accent so well, whether you have it or not, you can come. Okay, we can definitely talk about amping that life. Follow him. Follow what's coming for him next. I know it's going to be explosive. I can't wait to hear that identity that was created for you, Manny. Listen, I'm going to throw you so hard because I need you to perform. Like
I got you.
Because it's a beautiful future that I know you know.
Awesome.
Nobody have to tell you.
Appreciate it.
So thank you for the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. My beautiful people, you can comment, like everything down below. Again, thank you for one more chance, one more opportunity. Love you all.
Take care, y'all.